Ben, what is the last song that you listened to?
The last song I listened to, I've Got the Victory by Ricky Dillard, actually. It popped up on my YouTube timeline today. I was just watching a little concert that he did.
Ricky Dillard.
Yeah,
I don't
Ricky
know what it
Dillard.
is about that music. Like it's just like
It's
Uplifting.
real.
it makes me want to go accomplish stuff. It makes me want to go
Yeah,
like yeah, I can do it.
yeah,
But
it's
do you
real.
really?
I said it gives me the feeling. I did not say that I go do stuff. It does give me the feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want you to know Kayla didn't tell me about Rance Allen. I had to find out from
Hmm.
somebody
Why are
else
you
like a
still
day
harping
later.
on this? But at least you know now. I'm a huge Rance Allen
No.
fan. That's why she's upset that I didn't tell her that I wasn't the first person who told her that he passed.
I had to
Oh
find out from
man.
somebody who's not even related to me. He was like,
Mm.
"Oh yeah, Rance Allen died." Rance Allen, who?
Really?
Like
At least you
who?
know.
No, because literally when he said Rance Allen, I was like, it couldn't be the gospel singer, and I thought about the guy who played Jesus Shuttlesworth
Nope.
from He
That's
Got
Ray
Game.
Allen. That's Ray
It
Allen.
was an R. Allen. I was in denial. I was like, it cannot
Yeah.
be Rance Allen. It can't
Wow.
be Rance Allen. Yeah.
At least you know now.
Yeah.
No,
At
that
least you
doesn't
know now,
help.
for real.
Yeah. See, thank you, Ben.
At least you know
None
now.
of that
It's
helps.
all good though. It's okay. It's all right. It's all
I
right.
just want you to know none of that helps.
You
But
catching
thank
up?
you everyone for tuning in to another episode of Take a Space Podcast. I am your host, Leah. I'm here with my co-host, Kayla.
What's
And
up? What's up?
today we have a special guest, our cousin, Ben from
Yo.
Crunch Time. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank y'all family for having me on. Good to see y'all. And well, I can't think I'm trying to think last time I saw you. Was it back at home in Delaware? And Kayla, I was at your sister's wedding, so that was a couple
Yeah.
summers ago. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That was
boy, you
last
was
year.
down there for that. Yeah, that was last year?
hmm
Yeah, my daughter,
July
she ain't
last
too
year.
yet. Yeah. Oh, that seemed like it was like 3 years ago. Don't even seem like that.
So much has happened this year.
So much. Mm-hmm.
So much has happened this year. A lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff that's just like, how are humans still surviving? How are we still a thing? I
Man, just
don't
making it
know.
work. Just making it work.
Trying.
One day at a time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever worked hard to get something, and then when you get it, it like the reward doesn't match what you worked for, like all the work that you put in to get it?
Yeah, that was like my first couple of jobs out of college. Sure, I think like my first job I made like it's like 11, 17 an hour, and I was working like stupid shifts. I would get overtime, but it wasn't that good. And then I remember I was working when I worked at the college in Delaware. My school, I was making like 30 grand, but I was working like 7 days a week, all these long games, long hours, and I was getting paid jack and no room for overtime and nothing like that. But it paid off though at the end of
Okay, so you got an ultimate pay. Okay, all right.
the day. Hmm.
You made 11.75 on your first job.
Yeah, hour, but it had benefits though. It was decent.
I made 6.75 at Champs.
Well, hold on. First professional job or like
No, your
high
first
school
First
job.
job?
job. First
Like your
job
first
Oh
ever.
job.
no! Oh,
Yeah.
my first job. I think the first check I got from my actual like organization or a company was actually church. I was doing sound. Auntie Arbs used to give me like 200 a month or something like that, $100 every other week or something, because I was a
Okay.
sound man. Yeah. So then my first job, my real first job was at Sports Authority. I sold shoes. I think I made like 850 hour or something like that. So yeah, that was like really like my first job.
Okay. What about you,
Hmm.
Caleb?
Not too bad. My first job was. Did I go Office Mac first? Yeah. I was what, 8.75 an hour? And I thought I
Hmm.
was doing something.
It's like, oh, I
Oh
have a
yeah.
check in my
Yeah.
name.
I legit thought I was
Yeah,
doing something. But then came bills and I was just like, oh, uh, y'all got more hours? Like some overtime or something?
man,
Yeah.
them
And I was
bills eat
just
up
like,
that little check, didn't it?
they do. And I was like, so I still gotta eat. I still wanna buy stuff I wanna buy, but nah, that's when
Yeah,
I was like, why? Why are bills a thing? That's my whole there. I don't like
somebody got
bills.
to make the money. Somebody got to make some money.
No, somebody else. You do the work. I will feed you, and I will make sure that you come home to a clean house. I don't want to have to work. I want the option to work.
Yo.
See,
Just let me work as an option. But being an adult is probably the thing that I work the hardest to do. Why did I do this?
What do you mean? Why?
Time did it to you. That's what happened.
Why?
What
Why
other
did I
option
wanna-
would you have if you
I
if you
don't-
couldn't be an adult? What other option is there?
A unicorn? I don't know. Like why did
Hell.
I choose this? I feel like my soul was like, you know what, we could be an adult. And I was like, are you sure? And then for some reason, like the media, other people, freedom convinced me that I need to be an adult.
Oh my gosh.
Like a perfect age would be like 8 years old, because you know how to ride a bike, you have your friends, and all you have to do is go to school. Food magically appears on the counter at dinner time. Like you're golden. 8 is perfect.
Give me like 17, 16, 17.
Oh, that's too much responsibility. I don't need all that.
What kind of
You got chores and stuff.
For me, what, like take out the garbage?
Listen.
Right.
Oh, you're a boy. You're a boy. No, listen.
See,
As growing up as a lady in the house, like we had chores. It wasn't just take out the trash. It was
we had
wash
chores,
the dishes,
but
like wash the walls. Why was that a chore? I
don't even know why it's a thing.
I don't know.
The baseboards.
Yeah, baseboards, yeah. Got the little eraser to get the marks off, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm like, it's still gonna be there, so why? Just don't look at it.
Look, it's too many
It's
people in
just
the
busy
house
work.
to clean baseboards.
Right.
Listen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No. See, I like 8 years old was my pocket, like right there. Why 17?
Let's see. Had a car, had my license. It was high school. Playing football. You just kind of starting to figure out the premature phase of adulthood. You really didn't have too many responsibilities. I had my first job, but I was using that on anything. I didn't have a cell phone bill to pay, or I just had to worry about putting gas in my car. I didn't even have to pay insurance at that particular time. So, like I said, high school was fun, man. You don't really have that many responsibilities, and then when you get to college, you know what I mean. The only thing you really got to really worry about is getting up for your 8 o'clock class, and I thought that was a pain in the butt.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't get why things start before 10 a.m. Like the world used to stay asleep until 10.
Yeah. So yeah,
Really?
that's my window. That's a good moment. That was a good moment. 18, 17, like 16, 17 right now.
Okay. What about you, Kayla? What age? Yeah.
I'll probably say after high school. So like maybe because I graduated on 17 going into 18. So I'll say like around 19-ish. That way I don't have to go to school. Majority of the time just work if I really wanted to. Not really, but but just the year after high school, because that way I am not really big on, for me, school, because it was something I feel like it was mandatory as opposed to something I really wanted to do.
Mhm.
So by taking that out, like eliminating that option, I'll definitely say 19 is my go-to age of going back and just reliving and all that.
See, y'all, man,
Hey,
I
just
don't
saying.
know. I don't know about y'all. Like,
Man,
y'all
like,
wanted to
but
grow
being
up.
8 was cool. That was cool. You know what I mean? But at the same time, though, like you kind of get to hit the streets by yourself.
Listen, like when I was 8, like I had all that I could ever want, and then it was just, because I get to ride bikes. I had my friends. I went to school. Like we played double dutch. Remember, like the play structure, the jungle gym before it became plastic. It was metal, and you get to have the twirl bars. It was great. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time. Like third, fourth grade, that was like a real solid good time. And it was just like you get to be friends with everybody. It wasn't really drama with like anybody else. Like, it was great. Like that's amazing. 8 years old, like, but being an adult now, what is the best thing about being an adult in your life right now?
You go ahead, Kayla. You got that.
I think just knowing that I have the freedom if I really want to take it, like I don't have to really answer to anybody as an adult, like that wise. But being an adult is not really what I want to sign up for.
Mhm.
So, hey, I'm just being completely honest. If I had the option of not being an adult, I probably wouldn't. To be totally
Mhm.
honest with you, but I say the best thing is just knowing that I have freedom to do what I want to do, but also I know that I have to be realistic about it. So, just
See,
the
that's
free.
not responsible. When I'm 8, I don't have to worry
Hey,
about those
I
repercussions.
know.
Look,
See, but hey, it's just the way of life, I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah.
man. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, being an adult is cool, but I don't. You said, what, so the question is, what's my favorite part about being an adult?
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the best thing about being an adult right now?
I don't
In
know.
your life, not like everybody else's, but like in your life.
One particular thing.
uh, I guess like having the control to kind of control your own life. You know what I mean? Kind of make decisions and plan stuff out and see, kind of take a risk to like try to make your family better or yourself better or meeting new people, you know what I mean, with like-minded agendas. I think that's pretty cool, especially in a different region where I didn't grow up in, and pretty sure y'all can attest to this too, because y'all grew up on the West Coast and I grew up on the East Coast and the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Just being down here, I mean, it's cool, man. I think that's cool just to kind of and just being able to see things from this lens now because like I'm pretty sure y'all the same way. We all have like really good memory. So I still remember a lot of stuff when I was like 13, 14, even when I was 8 or 9. But I think now I think it's just cool just to meet a lot of different people from different walks of life and just try to compare times from what it was then to what it is now.
Yeah, I think that is probably that's probably my favorite thing about being an adult is that I can, because I've traveled a lot, moved around a lot, and I get to experience different cultures. And so, like, well, I know some other people have maybe, but there was a time where you're just like, man, when I'm an adult, I can eat all the ice cream I want. And then you become an adult and you're
Yeah.
like, man, but
Yeah.
if I eat the
Now
whole
you
container
get
of
that.
ice cream, there's like, and so
Exactly.
it's
What's the
like,
point?
right. It's like I know I
Yeah,
can, but I'm not, but I really do like, moving in different areas, living in the South, living in the East
yeah,
Coast, living on the West Coast, get
yeah.
to experience different things. Haven't lived in the Midwest, got to meet a
Hmm.
lot of different people. It's
Yeah,
really cool to experience different cultures and being able to be around different people. I think
yeah.
that will probably and lost Kayla, but that will
Oh
probably
man,
be
Taylor, where'd you go?
let's see. Did her phone die? I hope her phone didn't die.
She said she had to charge her phone, right?
Yeah. Uh what happened? Let's see. Okay, we'll just keep going.
Yeah, we're rolling.
Yeah, so I think that the best thing I think is that I get to experience different cultures and get to just be around people without worrying about whatever. Like I just get to be
Hmm.
more open-minded. I get to experience different things because unfortunately what happens is a lot of people get stuck in saying, well, the way my family does it is the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
and I think one of the biggest things I saw on Twitter recently is like the way people clean chicken. And so they're like, who cleans chicken in the sink? We have bowls. We do this. I use
No, you
lime.
clean
I
that.
use vinegar. I use lemon. And it's just like, some
It's
people are like, well,
different.
I just use water. Well, some people are like, I don't have to clean the chicken. I could just put it in the
Yeah,
dredge or whatever. And I was just
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah. It's
y'all,
different. Way.
you're stressing
It's
me down a little bit.
yeah. It's crazy because like you think. I mean, we kind of had kind of similar upbringings, but like it's crazy. Like you think that's just one way how to do things, and then when you kind of get out and kind of branch off, like oh, it's different ways you can do that, or you see things in a different light. So I think that's actually really cool, and just to
Yeah.
have that kind of broad understanding.
Yeah. And I think that, I think that it takes a certain kind of person to be able to be open enough to say, well, I don't know everything. Like, teach me something. Like, I just found out a few days ago that Jamaicans call avocados pears. And
What?
I almost forgot how language worked. I was just like, wait. So what do you call a pear? And pears are not native to Jamaica. So if
They're
they're
just
like,
making stuff up.
that was like, oh, okay. And
So
then like
if you show them a pear, they like what? Like what is that?
they
What
know,
kind of
so
fruit is
like
that?
so the two Jamaican girls who were on were, I think, one was born here, another one I think came here, and they know what like an American pear is, but typically when they're talking to their family, they call an avocado a pear.
Right.
And I was like, that okay. I understand. I mean, okay. Just like, I was thrown off for so long, but there are some people who are just like real adamant, like, no, this is called this, speak American and all this other stuff. And it's like, I really don't want to be that closed-minded person. So I think that now that I have like the ability to just be self-sufficient, be on my own, and be the adult in my life.
Yeah.
As me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I enjoy being married, but I know when I was single, I enjoyed it a lot. Just to kind of be self-sufficient and just kind of be able to find yourself. I know a good example of that is when I lived in Missouri for a hot second for like 2 years. And that was the first time I was like really away from home for an extended amount of time, or away from my parents in that aspect. It was good, man. I wasn't a part of my home church, so I was just a part of like the congregation. So I was just a normal guy instead of just being, PK, which I loved. I was like, oh yeah, this is what it's like. Oh, I get to come in. I ain't got to be worrying about being like the center of attention. 80% of the time. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed it, man. It was really good. So when I moved back to Delaware, I was like, man, as soon as I maximize my time here, I'm skedaddling straight up out of here. You know what I mean?
Listen.
And yeah, so it's good. Don't get me wrong. Like, I had a really good life, but when you live in that bubble, what I mean, you guys know, you know what I mean? You're Leah's kid or Calvin's kid. You're not Deborah or Kayla.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then, so when I moved to Louisiana, and I had no family there, I had some friends there, but not a lot. I was just being, I wasn't Pastor Bullock's son or First Lady Debbie's son, you know what I mean? And I embraced that challenge for real, just that maturation process of not only growing up, but also just trying to build my own name. You know what I mean? And success, and I've done it successfully, even coming all the way out here to Dallas too, going from Louisiana to Dallas, and I built a really good name for myself. And granted, I had a really good upbringing, but it has nothing to do with, me being Pastor Bullock's son. Even though it's been places out here, they still knew who I was based off my parents. You know what I mean? But it's cool though. I enjoy it though. It's cool.
It's wild that we have family like literally all over the place.
Everywhere. It's everywhere.
I know that, like, so because we all grew up in the church, and with our parents being, the musicians in the church, and your parent and your dad being a pastor, your mom a first lady. How, like, and you touched on it a little bit, when you moved away from home and you were able to just go to church as a guest, as a member, not coming by letter, not having, any like preconceived notions of like, oh, I was sent here by so-and-so, my dad is this, my mom is this. To me, it was freeing. I felt like it was freeing. But how did that feel to you, like going into a church and it was like, I get to actually just like be in the congregation and not have to worry about what's going on like behind the curtain?
It was good. Luckily for me, when I moved to Kansas City, luckily I had did an internship there a couple years back, so I was familiar with the city already. And the church I ended up going to, I with my dad's younger sister, so I was visiting there, and I checked out another church and went for me. So I ended up staying at that church, which ironically was the same name as my parents' church back in Delaware, so Canaan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Canaan Worship Center in Kansas City. So, and to be honest with you, man, like, I was just so used to hearing the word from my dad's perspective. I didn't have a wide range. So I was like, man, this dude. I was like, I got caught up comparing them to my dad, but once I realized, like, look, they two different people, but they preaching the same thing. it was good. You know, that kind of freed me up, and it was good, man. Like I think I was part of the men's ministry. I helped out on the sound team, and it was like I said, it was cool just to kind of be just a part of the congregation. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it was cool. I enjoyed it, and for me, just from a spiritual standpoint, I was able to like really find not say find God, but like rediscovering him for my own self. Meaning just kind of focusing. It's just me. It's not necessarily coming from my dad or coming from my mom or just kind of being in that realm. I'm like really focusing in and trying to learn like, okay, this what this means instead of just being a kind of like a routine when you're back at home.
Right, right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna ask Ben. Did it take you a minute to like readjust to it, or
What you mean?
like how you said you was always very used to your dad, like basically
Hmm.
one way. So when you got to Dallas, did it take you a minute, or
Hmm.
Louisiana, did it take you a
No,
minute to readjust,
no,
or it was
because
just like
I no,
instant?
it was instant because I took pretty much the same formula that I had when I lived in Kansas City, and I just took that down with me to Louisiana.
Oh,
I just knew that, yeah. So I just one thing I had to keep in my mind is just have an open mind. Kind of
okay.
pay attention, like, and see, like, pay attention to the details of the church. They have a youth department or they have strong men in the church, that kind of thing. So when we joined the church in Louisiana, shout out to Beacon Light, passed by Eric Williams and his wife. It was good. They had a good mix of people, which I'm always for. Young, old, just it's a real overall type of good feel. And
Yeah.
like I said, I took that same formula and applied it to it. But I think once I realized like I can actually not necessarily trust, but actually have a clear eye view when it comes to looking at somebody, when it comes to giving me the word, it was good. And then the church was cool, and luckily out here when we moved here, I visited like three churches out here, and ironically, the one I ended up joining is the one I work for now. So it's crazy.
That's cool because
Hmm.
I went to so when I left Cali and I went to a couple different churches, and
Hmm.
I went kind of through that same thing of, well, I'm used to now, mind you, we grew up where we would typically go to different churches based on like their musical needs.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all bounced around a lot.
sometimes, yeah, like sometimes we'd be at a church for 5 years, sometimes we'd be at a church for 2 years, sometimes we'd be at a church
Yeah.
Yeah,
for 10 years. It just kind of depended
yeah.
the on what the church musically needed,
Hmm.
and based on that. So I think that kind of prepared me to listen to different pastors and listen to the
Yeah.
way the word is brought differently.
Hmm.
To be honest, and you
Oh
probably
Lord.
remember this, Kayla knows this.
Really?
Um, I will fall asleep
Yeah, I'm about to say that's true.
after
Yeah.
the choir is done. So listening to different sermons wasn't a thing that I was prepared to do
Yeah,
when I
follow with it.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, oh God, okay. It
Hmm.
said, and that ends the reading of God's word. That is a nap time signal for me. I
Terrible.
wake up right before the benediction when they're about to open the doors of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm good, but I think
Yeah.
that I think that, like you said, it being away from home and being away from the shelter of our parents or even the name of our parents, because I don't know what they did, but their name goes everywhere, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, wait, how do you know who this? Wait, what?
Yeah.
You know my
Especially
family?
especially the Strickland name, and
Yeah,
then the
like
dad's name too.
yeah, but it really, like you said, it helped me to have a more personal relationship with God. So I'm not like relying
Yeah.
on, hey ma, hey dad, pray for me. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not like,
Hmm.
hey,
Yeah.
so how about this? And it's like, no, now I can like read the word for
Yeah.
myself and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Or at least if I'm like, okay, well, this is something that feels new, maybe
Yeah.
I know who to turn to, and what and knowing if they're like have that discernment of what they're saying is correct,
Yeah.
or what they're saying is like completely out of left field. Because some people
Yeah. Yeah.
now are consider themselves like universalists. I don't know where the air quotes came from. I don't know
I don't even know what
what
that means.
universalist.
What does that mean?
It's they're like the universe gives and the universe takes away. I put this energy out in the universe, and the
That
universe
sounds
brings
like
me
some
this.
CCM type stuff.
And this it's like, everybody can do what you want to do, but
Yeah.
understand, like, my faith is important to me. And so, but what they've been trying to do, like this new age thing, is
Mm-hmm.
mix and match and mix and match and mix and match, which is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing new. Everybody's always trying to mix different things, different religions, and especially people like us who are trying to get back in touch with
Yeah.
what our ancestors were, and try to and
Mhm.
like search to what like our cultural relevance is, our cultural background and things like that, so we have something that we can call upon, something that we can really go to. But in our family, it's really like what binds us together is our faith.
Mhm.
And I think that when you leave, it's difficult sometimes to get your bearing, especially when you're single, you're by yourself. Like, I'm
Yeah.
currently by myself in this state. Like, I don't have family here. Like, y'all, like, well, not you anymore, but like your parents are like 8.5 hours away from
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like my closest sister, well, she's like 3 hours away. But it's like,
Who?
it's just my oldest sister.
Oh, okay.
Rashonda,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
My older sister, she's like 3 hours away, and like even Lewis, he's 12, and so
Mhm.
it's just like it's been one of those like learning experiences. But I'm glad I get to do it while I'm single, and I don't have to do
Yeah,
it. I
definitely.
don't have to do it like married or whatever. Kayla, oh my gosh, is that is that Dylan?
Yes,
Okay, I
that's what I
was like, I
said.
don't know what hand that was. I don't know what
Yes.
hand that was. But Kayla,
I'm trying.
did you go through a similar experience, like even with you moving out of, because you moved out 19?
18, 18. I was 18 going into 19.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when you moved out, did you go through similar experiences where you had to like kind of like fend for yourself, or learn how to do it on your own?
Most definitely. It was the time frame. Hold on one second. It was the time frame literally getting out of. Once I got out of California, that's when it was like I felt I had to fend for myself in a way. Um,
You in the service, right?
no,
Okay. You okay?
yeah, um, and luckily I had support like family wise because for those who don't know, I actually ran away from home. Yes, I actually ran away from home. And that's when I came to Texas initially. And had I not, I probably would have been in the same circle, I guess you can say, like the same mindset
Mhm.
that there would have been no change done. Um, but as far as definitely fitting for myself, I want to say that was probably not until I was actually moved out from with you, Bo, when I moved out and actually on my own and
Hmm.
got to see like a whole perspective, like how strong I am and how much I can actually handle by myself. Because I was very dependent on a lot of people. To be, I was dependent on a lot of people, and I think it had to do with the fear of not the fear of the unknown, but also the fear of never experiencing it, and I didn't want to do it by myself.
Mm.
So yeah, it was a definitely many trial and errors. I would definitely say that. Yeah, many
That's
trial
all
and
life
errors.
is. That's all
Yeah,
life is.
Yeah.
that's all it is. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
So, mm, it wasn't bad, but I'm definitely glad I went through what I went through because I wouldn't be nowhere near where I am now.
Mhm.
So yeah, made the
If
right choice.
if you had the opportunity, and this is to both of you, if you had the opportunity to go back to tell yourself anything, like, and it could be like when you may have been at a low point, right? And to where you are now, what would you tell yourself, and what time period would you go back to?
I would say 18. I would say about when I was going to college. I probably would have told myself, well, don't get me wrong. Like I've accomplished a lot in my career,
Hmm.
but I probably might have switched majors. I wouldn't have focused on journalism or sports or anything.
Really?
Yeah, I would have probably did like IT or something like
Really?
that. Thinking back on it now, or real estate, like I've always loved like residential real estate because actually
Mm-hmm.
what put me on with that was Aunt Ruth. I remember I was in Sacramento one summer and she had her hands in it. I'm like, Aunt Ruth, like, how you get these big old houses like this? And she was like, real estate, like sell houses. I'm like, oh, but yeah, I probably would have changed my focus. It definitely would
Ah,
have been like IT or real estate. It's not too late to get into real estate, obviously, but like I
Yeah.
always like kind of like information technology, and because I'm kind of techie. If I probably would actually put my head to it or learn some things, I probably would have took it to a whole nother level. But yeah, I probably would have did sports journalism. But because I love that aspect, where I was really good at it, which was the
mm-hmm.
main reason why I ended up following that. And that's why I did it. But yeah, if I could do it over again, I probably would have did like real estate or like a hospitality management or something like that.
Okay.
hmm
Mm,
I
I ain't
learned
mad
something
at you.
new.
Y'all,
I
y'all so
know.
Like,
y'all so shocked. Why
like
y'all so shocked?
because like I just knew like you always wanted to do sports. I was like, no,
Yeah.
I
it's something.
did.
It's gonna be something in sports.
You're 100%, 1,000,000% right. But at the same time, I had like other interests. Maybe because I wasn't as confident, like
Mm,
branching off into that because I knew I could be successful doing journalism or doing some type of audio visual, doing video. I know I could do that because
okay.
even starting off in church, like, you running camera, I was doing soundboard and selling like tapes and DVDs of sermons at church. So I was already familiar with all of that. So, but I just didn't have the confidence to branch off and try something new when I knew I could be successful in some other area.
Did it? Do you think
Mm.
that now that you have? I mean, because I'd say that you're rather successful in
Thank you,
what you're
appreciate it.
doing now.
hmm
Do you
I'm like, hey,
think
it's
that?
Finn.
I'm like, hey, you see this? This is my
I know.
cousin. This is
Uh-huh.
my that's yeah, we
I
share
get
the same
yeah.
blood. We share the same
Uh-huh.
blood. So do you think that you being successful in where you are now um comes with a certain level of comfort and now you're like, I really wish I would have at least tried in those other areas?
Yeah, like I said, man, it was all about comfort level for me. Because I'm a type of guy like I gotta see things before they happen, and
Oh,
I'm not a huge risk taker. Like I take some risks here and
Mm.
there, but I'd rather know what's coming rather than hop
Yeah.
into it and I'm like, oh well, dang, that's well, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
yeah, so yeah, it was like I said, I took the safe route. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I knew, and because and part of that is because I was really passionate about it. I wasn't really passionate about real estate. I mean, I liked it because it was a lot of money, and I
Mm-hmm.
liked
Mm-hmm.
houses and all that. But I knew, obviously, know us. Like we grew up around sports, both our families did. So, I was like, I want to be on TV. I want to be an analyst. I want to be on radio. I want to do X, Y, Z. Just talk about sports all day. And I knew that like when I was like maybe like 9 or 10. I just didn't know
Mm.
what route it was going to be. But once, like I said, when I talked to Aunt Ruth that one time, I was like, Aunt Ruth, like, what you do? You know what I mean? Like, mind you, I was
Give
like
me some
11.
game. What's
I
going on?
know.
Yeah, mind you, I was like 11 then. I was like, you sell houses? Huh? I'm like, okay, cool. That might be an option. And ironically, like I do like a video content for realtors out here, so I'm kind of in there to a certain extent now. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
okay.
Okay.
I don't put too much of that out there. But yeah, so I'm friends with a lot of realtors. I've produced content for them on that aspect. So, and then I have a ton of realtor friends who I talk to now just to kind of pick their brain. Like I got a realtor now. She's going to be when we ever get a house. I'm already throwing houses at her right now. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
technically,
Okay.
I'm kind of in it, but yeah, I just took the safe route. I didn't really want to take a risk of failing. You know what I mean?
What about you,
Mm.
Kayla?
Sorry, I kind of forgot the question, to be totally honest with you.
Well, being like shocked
I
is like,
was,
wait,
I know
what?
that's, I was so into
Real
Ben's story.
estate,
That's why I was like, wait,
Yeah,
IT,
what?
what?
yeah,
Techie,
I never
yeah.
would have
what?
guessed those two at
Yep.
all.
So, if
hmm
you could go back and tell yourself anything, at what period, like to as like you can help them, but you can't tell them anything about where you're at right now. What would you? Where would you? What time period would you go back to, and what would you tell them,
Like tell
or what
myself,
would you
like
tell yourself?
my
Yeah.
past self.
Yes.
Mm, I definitely say my biggest thing that I've had to learn this year is not settle. So I would definitely, in the time frame, I'll say maybe like around 2015, 2016 ish.
Okay.
Uh, Definitely don't settle because I did a lot of that, and it caused a heartache, but also caused a lot of like downfalls, like work related, finance related as well.
Hmm.
So um when I say don't settle, more so big on like relationship wise. Um,
Right.
so I'm recently divorced, and so that being said, it's definitely more easy for me to settle. Like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll give in whatever you want to do just to please the other person. And so by giving the advice or just saying don't settle without giving too much information, I would definitely say stand my ground more, speak up as opposed to whatever that person says and just accept it without like giving any like pushback.
Hmm.
Because let alone this year has already been enough, but just seeing how much I've matured and how much I speak up for myself, that's one of the biggest things that was extremely hard for me to do.
Hmm.
Because it's always easier for me for somebody else to speak up for me and just to do whatever
Right.
it is they're going to do for me as opposed to me putting myself out there. And as you said, Ben, it's like the fear of failure. I've had that, and I still struggle with that today, but not nearly as much as I did back then. Um, and also, I would say whatever plan I have, don't let anybody make it for me and also change it for me. Yeah, they can give me advice, but however, at the same time, this is my life, and
Hmm.
I got to do what I need to do because I had multiple plans, and I'll always run it towards a lot of people, and I'll let them tweak it, change it completely, or be like, yeah, that's a good plan, and it's just like, wait, but what I had in mind, that's what I want to do, and what you're telling me, that's not really what I want to do. So we gotta fix something around here.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely say don't settle. Definitely speak up, but also whatever plan I have, definitely stick to my plan, regardless. If I need to change it, that's understandable. But don't allow somebody else to do it for me.
Okay.
That
That's
was
good.
deep, man.
That
No,
was
I know.
that's real. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's just like I said earlier, it just comes with maturity and just like
Yeah.
kind of taking that leap of faith when it comes to certain stuff. Like I applaud you, Kayla, for running away from home for whatever the case was. You know what I mean, going all the way to Texas at 18, 19.
Mhm.
I know that was a tough decision, but you was like, man, you about to say just lack of a better term, but F, and I'm about to just be out.
Yeah, that's pretty much. That's pretty much how it happened. I was like, "Hey, you mind if I come live with you?" Oh, okay. Come on. I'm on the plane. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much
and
how it
so
went. So
that's a huge risk. You know what I mean? And now
yeah,
you're two kids and doing a mom and doing your whole thing. And that's why I applaud you because I'm on the fence a little bit. I got to look around, see what's happening. Before I even go do something like that. You know what I mean? Gotta have me a plan, bro. I just can't. I just can't. I just can't just up and leave and just be out there just with nothing. You know what I mean? So I applaud you for that. Now Dan is like that. My brother, he's like you. He'll take a risk in a heartbeat. That's why he's successful now with his Bull Young bourbon because he
Yellow bourbon.
decided to take a
Yeah,
risk. Yeah, so he's a lot more braver than me. But that just dates back to when we were even younger. Dan would jump off stuff, jump off things, no problem, no fear at all. Me, I'm like, we probably gonna get in trouble for that, so I ain't doing
right.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, It's honestly, I'm almost the complete opposite of you, Ben. Like, even when I left to go to Texas, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a job. I knew that I was going to stay with Jocelyn for a bit. And, but I literally, I had a pizza plan. It was to drive out there. And
figure it out.
that was pretty much it. Like, even when I moved to Virginia, it was that I, accepted a position, with the bank that I was working for at the time.
Capital One, right?
Mm-hmm. And when I moved out there, like, I didn't know anybody. It was literally just going in blind. I didn't even see my apartment until I was signing my lease.
Yeah.
And so there was no visit, didn't know the area, didn't know anything. Even when I came here, it was transfer my lease, no job, no nothing. It was just like, yep, I'm just gonna just take a leave.
That's too much of a risk for me.
But see, I'm single. Y'all got kids. Y'all got people y'all responsible for.
Yeah. If you just by yourself, you can do whatever you want, for real.
Listen, I'm not listening, because at worst case scenario, I end up somewhere and I'm just out here with my two hands, like me, my two hands, and my dog, and it's just like. So anybody got a couch I can crash on for a little bit? But I've made I made some really smart decisions where I don't where I'm glad that I have the circle that I have, that even if I had to do that, I can call. But I haven't had to, listen, God has kept me.
Yeah.
Listen, even in my dumbness.
Yeah.
It's just like the decisions that I made, but I am definitely more of a risk taker. Like, even now, I'm like, I've been here for about a year and a half, and I'm like, I wonder where I'm going next. Like, I'm like, all right, so we're
back to Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going.
See, why not?
Y'all out there wilding out. Yeah. Look,
I'm
Dallas,
not number.
Houston, Austin, y'all out there wilding out. Like,
I'm not in that number. I'm not in that number.
Over. Like, we
I'm not in that number either. I take precaution.
I'm not in that number. Nope.
I take precaution. I don't be out like that. Yeah, we got kids. We can't be out there acting all crazy.
Right.
Exactly.
Opening up the state back. I'm like, y'all. People still die. Like, what are you talking about?
Nah, dealing with it, man. Yeah, we dealing with it.
Yeah, and I know that, like, I'm the type of person, I don't really, and somebody asked me this, and I think this has been like my whole thing each and every time. Like, when I said, I'm leaving to go to Virginia, she was like, well, have you ever been there? I said, no. She said, what if you don't like the people there? And this is I was a supervisor at the branch I was at before I got the job in Virginia. And she said, what if you don't like the people there? And that was literally the furthest thing from my mind. I said, look, I don't even like y'all half the time. So going somewhere and not liking somebody is not going to make or break whether I like it there or not. Yeah. Like, you gotta take the chance, so that at least you can say, well, I did the thing. Mm-hmm. Or you're just like, well, I hope my child is brave enough to take the leap, because I didn't do anything. Like, I stayed, I played it safe. I stayed here. I kind of did this thing. I'm in my comfortable level. I'm waiting for things to come to me. And like, no, I don't want to do that. I wanted to do something that was scary. And so
you're talking about that's me all day for the most part.
I used to be like you, but I knew for myself, I wanted a different life. I wanted to do some stuff that would scare me, because I didn't know how strong I was or what I was capable of doing until I was like, let me see what it's
I'll
like.
take calculated risk. I'll take a calculated risk.
See, really?
It's not, but there's no calculation.
Yeah, look around that corner first. See what's coming. See what's over good. Like, I tell you, like,
lights are not even on around the corner, so you peeping into darkness and you don't know what's over there. You waiting for somebody else to go turn on that light. Now you missed the boat.
That's true. You're right. I 100% agree with you. You're right. I 100% agree with you. I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, he goes still stay there.
Like, I'll wait for the next boat. Y'all good over there?
I'm going to ask somebody, hey, how was it? Can I come on now? All right. Is we clear? Okay. I'll get on.
Everybody make it. We have no dust. Everybody's made it. Okay. All right. I'll jump after y'all, but I still got a parachute and a cord, so that in case I can get pulled back in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Terrible.
no, I can't.
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't do. Like when I'm ready to go. Look,
I
I'm
feel
packing
you.
up.
I
I'm
feel
out of
you. I
there.
was like that, but I will tell you when I moved to Louisiana, that was a big jump for me because only had been to New Orleans, but I lived in Baton Rouge, and I had
Okay.
like pretty much everywhere I've lived at, I was either close to home or I had family. At the time,
Mm.
me and Anya, we was engaged, so I had her, and that was it. You know what I mean? I was just
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah. So it was me and her. We went down there, and we just made it work. You know what I mean? So I give y'all a story. So when, like in 2016, they got hit really bad with like record rainfall, like rain like 3 or 4 days straight, and
yeah,
and obviously with Louisiana, they're still affected. Like certain areas are still affected by Katrina. Like they
Mhm.
hmm
really got everything repaired. So man, we went down there. We originally had a whole house to rent from my boss for like $500. It was like fully furnished and all that kind of stuff. All we had to get was like a refrigerator, and that was part of the deal because I was actually going to make less money going down there. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just take this leap. So I took a leap. I did it. You know what I mean? But I did go down there for a visit first, and I saw the house.
He's like,
I'm
let me check it first. Let me make sure. Okay, now we can jump. And I is
good.
like,
I
this is
just
a
want to make
walk.
sure.
This is not a jump. We're not jumping. We're walking.
Right, right. So we get ready to leave and everything. We drive from Delaware, driving down. So the floods hit, and that the flood washes out the house completely, like done. So yeah, done completely.
Wow.
So we stayed at my godparents' house in Alabama for like almost 2 weeks until we got a house apartment set up. So to your point, Deborah, we had to sign a lease on a place we had never seen before.
I
You know
know
what I
that
mean?
is.
Yeah,
Yep. Mm,
I just,
Sight
I just,
unseen.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
But
yep.
then, and even so, when we get down there, we had already because when we was moving to that place, the first place that got washed out, it was fully furnished, so we didn't have to buy any furniture. So we go down there with no furniture. So me and Anya, we in Walmart trying to find an air mattress. We couldn't find one. You know what I mean? So luckily we found one, but it was far few in between. You know what I mean? So we got that, and then but I say all that to say this, man. You just gotta trust God, man, for real.
Yeah.
Even if it's out your comfort zone, you just gotta trust Him, bro. If you put in the work, He'll never leave you nor forsake you, all that. But He gonna make a way, even though it might be the greatest way. It's gonna be a way that you're gonna be
Mhm.
able to survive. So yeah, that's just my little testimony when it comes to taking risk and all that. You know what I mean? Just know that you have to have faith and make sure you're paying your tithes and do what you need to do, and you good money. That's the advice I give to anybody who's thinking about taking a risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that most of adulthood I mean, living is risk, It's like you go to the grocery store now, you risk somebody sneezing on you, looking at you sideways
Yeah,
or whatever it may be. But I do appreciate that I appreciate now that I have a closer relationship with God where I don't have to, I'm not like anxiety ridden or like super, not saying that I never get anxiety, but when I do, like I'm not like having panic attacks or like worried about, what's going on in the future or what's going on because I really rely heavily on my faith, especially during this time. Like there was a period where I was just like by myself for months. It was just me and my dog like in the house for months.
mm,
And I know that a lot of other people out there, especially now, are even though some things are starting to open back up, they're still kind of like feeling the effects of that loneliness and of those things. And so, and I'm not saying y'all take risks and get on Tinder or Bumble or whatever the dating apps and go find
mm,
somebody. I'm not saying that, but but I do say that in life in general, I think that there's a lot of reward that comes from being able to take the risk, like whether
yeah,
you can see the results or whether you don't, like whether it's something like you being in sports and you're comfortable in it,
yeah,
you know what it's like to work the soundboard, you know what it's like to work in AV, and so
mm,
you get the degree in it and it's opened up so many opportunities for you,
right.
or
Hmm.
like Kayla, and you taking classes for graphic design. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
still excited for you about that because
Yeah.
it looks great. Like I get so excited every week when she's like, "Here's for the week," or "This is what we're doing this week." Like I'm just so. I mean, please don't start charging me like expensive prices.
Yeah,
Man,
really.
make that little side money there, Kayla.
I know. I'm trying. I'm trying.
but
Yeah,
but I think that in life we can't control everything, but what we can control is the amount of risk that we're willing to take, and sometimes big risk doesn't always lead to big reward,
Mhm.
but the growth that you get from making even the dumbest of decisions, like not to make that decision.
yeah.
Really.
That's
You
what
know,
I'm afraid of, making a dumb decision.
you
That's
listen,
why. That's why
sir.
I'm like that. I mean, I've made some bad decisions, but like not like consistently, just like totally just throw my entire life out of whack. No, that's why I'm kind of like, all right, we good. Okay.
See.
I don't think it's in your character to make because there's a difference between making a bad decision and making a dumb decision. You know what I mean?
Right. Mhm.
So I think that even in your character, I don't think that it's within you to make like just a stupid decision where it's like, well, why did you blow all your money on lottery tickets? What did you Powerball was up to 3 trillion? I gotta win a
Yeah,
little. Like that would be a stupid decision. I mean, but if you won't really know if a decision was right, wrong, or indifferent, until you make it. And so, those who are out there, I'm sorry, Colt just keeps
Coat's been cold.
listen, Colt's gonna get it together one day. But I think that regardless, as long as you keep your faith, like you said,
yeah,
like know who God is for yourself, know Christ for
yeah,
yourself, because
right,
once you get off of milk and start actually eating meat, you won't have to worry about depending on the approval of other people. You won't have to
yeah.
worry about other people giving you this unsolicited advice of what you should and shouldn't do. Because when
Yep.
things don't work out, all
Go
they
off,
say
Kayla.
is, I mean,
I'm just saying. I can't
listen.
stand that. I
Like
didn't ask for your input.
everybody
Mm-mm.
has people in their life who's like, what you should do is. Meanwhile, they're probably
No.
been
No.
on for the past
Yes.
8 years.
Mm-mm.
Like, well, you
No.
never got your passport. Well, you need to go get yours. Well, how you gonna try
Stop trying to live your life through me. That's all I'm saying.
to?
No. Okay.
Go off,
Ain't
Kayla.
happening. Okay. I can't stand it. I don't like it
Trigger.
when people. It is. It really is because for so long I had to hold my tongue, and I'm just like I ain't doing that no more. So no, okay, no,
Hmm. I
no,
understand.
I ain't doing that no more. Don't tell me what you should have done or what you could have done. It ain't happening. It's not
Yeah.
my life, not my path.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of that from our elders
Yeah.
and random people on social media who tells you how, because they've seen a snapshot of your life, whether it be a picture or video clip, they think they know everything about you and can tell you how to live your life. And it's like,
Yeah,
you don't have a vested interest in this.
Hmm.
What
you
bill are you
see.
picking up this month? Which one do you want?
And just because they see a snapshot, they think they know everything, which you ain't
Exactly.
really. Yeah, like social media is all smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? You see what I want you to see. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You're not in the trenches with me. You haven't, or in this case, you've been in the prayer closet with me. You haven't heard any of that stuff. So just let
Right.
me do my thing. You know?
Right. Because I mean, people are just like, oh, if you have this, do this. I don't know you,
Uh,
user 27413. You don't get to tell me how to live my life. Like, you don't get to do that. You're
yeah.
not you have no vested interest in seeing me be successful. So,
Mhm.
I just, being an adult, you have the opportunity to do some pretty cool things. I mean, I would still want to be 8, but hey, take it where you
Get
can.
off of that. Oh my
Listen, if I
gosh.
can make enough money and live as if, I don't have to worry about anything, I'll be all right.
Mm-mm.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
No.
trying to work hard now, and then that way I can go back to living that way, just
Mhm.
being carefree.
Yeah.
But
I cannot.
I'm just
I
saying, like, it's
cannot.
great to just be carefree. Like, I just don't want to have to deal with like normal people stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to be like, yes, add, I want the noodles and not the rice. Well, it's $2.50 extra without having to be like, let me make sure I got $2.50.
Yeah.
Just to get that extra.
Yeah.
Never
Get the
mind. Put it
rice.
back.
Get
Put
the
it back.
rice. Don't get the noodles. Use the noodles. Like, no, it's. I mean,
Terrible.
I'm just saying that was when I was 17. That was like a dream of mine, and now I don't have to worry about it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm good though. But yeah, but thank you so much, Ben, for being on the show. Where can people find you?
Man, just search me on Instagram and Twitter at Ben Bulljive. You can also find my podcast on there as well. Crunch Time, I usually try to do weekly on Instagram Live. I like the live aspect. Talk about sports, current events, news. Last week, my most recent episode, we talked about presidential election. Yeah, so I just held like an open mic for people to join in. It was pretty good. Had a lot of different people. I wanted more diverse in terms of race on there. I didn't get a chance. It was all black, which is good, but I still wanted to hear like a different perspective since, the hot topic right now is race and will always be that. But yeah, that was a good episode. Probably going forward, I probably will have an episode about real estate, just talking to some realtors and different hot spots within the country. Probably will do one in Texas, probably one in Atlanta, maybe one in LA, just to, that's where a lot of people live at who follow me, or somewhere else on the East Coast. But yeah, so yeah, go follow me on social media at Ben Bulljive on Twitter and Instagram.
And you also have a YouTube page, right?
I do. Just search me. Chill out.
He's like, oh yeah, I'm famous on there too. Yeah.
No, stop. Yeah, just find me on YouTube. Just type in Benjamin Bullock, and you'll see me pop up. So just subscribe, do whatever you want, and it's cool, man. Just let it roll out.
Do whatever you want.
Okay, cool. Kayla, since we talked about growth and your ability to speak up for yourself, let's talk about your Instagram page. Tell the people how they.
But you do it so much better.
Oh, you just said you don't want people speaking for you.
Ooh, she got you there, Kayla.
I was talking about others, like non-relatives.
Tell people about your Instagram page.
I have an Instagram page at The Buyer's Journey. Basically, day-to-day life of raising my sons. Daniel is autistic and also he's nonverbal. So just giving out advice and also receiving advice as well of how our life works. And basically, I just post pretty much anything, how the ups and downs, and also what's working, what's not working, trial and error, and also dealing growing up as well. And that's The Buyer's Journey on Instagram.
Hey,
really.
Yeah.
So yeah.
About to find you right now, Kayla.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I do enjoy. I remember I tuned in to Ben's live when we were talking about music, and then I was on. Kayla posted recently about how Daniel's learning his colors, and he's getting recognized at school and learning different signs to be able to communicate with him being nonverbal. But he's also in speech class. He just started like trying to mimic words, so it's really cool because it's like the start of him talking. So yeah. Make sure that y'all definitely go follow that. Thank you so much, y'all, for being on.
No problem.
Please follow us at Take Up Space Pod. That's Take Up Space POD on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure you also subscribe to the YouTube channel. We come out with new episodes every Tuesday, and we go live every Thursday. So please join us this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we will talk a little bit more about this episode. Hopefully we'll have Ben back for that. And
absolutely.
Appreciate you.
But thank y'all so much. No, thank y'all, man. I really appreciate you. Let me know if I get back on with y'all, and we'll talk some more.
Awesome. Well, y'all have a great night. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, later. Yep.